So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Sounds unanimous. The mayor will sign all those requisitions in the morning. We prepared to talk about that?
Sure.
Sure, I can tell you. You've seen a lot of the work, we're doing a lot of utility work within Rathman Willard. It's sewer, it's water lines. That work is continuing. We are also gearing up to do an electrical shutdown this weekend and next weekend. That's associated with the work that we relocated electrical across the roof. So that work is going to take place. We completed the demolition and abatement within the existing boiler room and are going to start that new work, the new vent work next week, as well as relocating the existing cooling tower that's outside the gymnasium. We've also closed off the gymnasium. The temp partition is up. The new ramp for emergency access is installed. It's off the loading dock currently. And north and south lots are paved and striped. And then next week, we are also planning to pave the lot over here on, adjacent to Blue Pride Way.
So we will be ready for the opening of school,
Yes, we'll be ready for the opening of school.
which is fast coming upon us.
Right.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that, Joe or Mary Ann?
Nope.
Okay. Then bid package 4, Antoinette, we have pre-qualified contractors in the various trades.
We did. We sent out a request for qualification for 15 trade contracts. In total, we received 97 statement of qualifications, and we have gotten through 14 of the 15 packages, and we'd like to make some recommendations. What they did is there was the whole process that's required for 149A. An application, they have to submit references, credit references, similar project experience along with their DCAM rating. So we have received, for acoustical tile, 5 qualifications, and all of them we recommend being able to move forward with the bidding of the project. Electrical, we have 4 contractors that also qualified. Elevator, there was 2, they both qualified. Fire protection, we had 7, all of them qualified. Glass and glazing, there were 8 qualifications received, all of them qualified. Masonry, we had 7, all of them qualified. Metal windows, we had 7, all of them qualified as well. Miscellaneous and ornamental iron, 9, all of them qualified. Painting, 8, all of them qualified. Plumbing, there were 5, all of them qualified. Resilient flooring, there were 6, all of them qualified. Roofing and flashing, 8, all qualified. Tile, 6, all qualified. And waterproofing and caulking, there were 9 applications, all of them qualified. We'll be holding off until the next meeting to make a recommendation for the mechanical work. That's the largest bid package at $24.8 million. So it warrants a little extra consideration. So we would ask that we proceed, that you allow us to proceed with notification so that they can bid the work in September when the documents come out.
So the only one that we had less than 3 was elevators. Are we confident that 2 is enough?
It is
Or
not.
are there only 2?
There are only 2.
Right.
It is typical, standard that we see that the elevator companies do not pre-qualify because they know if we don't have 3, then we may end up going out and negotiating a contract based on that. That particular trade is notorious.
Most of the
for
time,
not-
they don't even bid. They just
Right.
want to be assigned to the GC rather than being done as a fault submitter. They're fearful of fault submitting for some reason. They don't like it.
Okay. So next question is to the committee. Do Do you want to hear anything further about any of these 90-odd companies? Do you want to hear their names, their scores? Do you want to see the score sheets? Because depending on what you say, the next order of business is to ask to approve the recommendation of Skanska as to each one of these. So, Jerry?
I'd be interested in knowing where we are with those bidders against what they had for an estimate. I mean, are we within budget? Are we above or below?
Oh, they're bidding yet. This is
This is-
pre-qualification.
This is those who are allowed to bid as the final
Oh, those
submitters.
weren't, they didn't bid. They're just allowed to bid.
Right. So we look at a number of things. We
okay.
look at their bonding capacity. We look at how much work they have on the books. We look at, can they carry the job, ultimately?
References from other projects.
Right, exactly. And then it's the same system that we had used previously for bid package number 1. So I put together this gigantic spreadsheet, which we were literally finalizing phone calls for references today. So I'll have the entire package over to Gail as soon as I button everything up. So that's how we kind of take all their information and make sense of it.
Yeah. I would like to say a little bit about the process here, where, first of all, they need to be DCAM certified. To be DCAM certified, and you need to go through a process with DCAM where they look at your financials, they review a number of projects and information that you provided, they look at safety, et cetera. So when we do our evaluation, right off the bat, if they don't provide a DCAM update statement or certification, we confirm they're not debarred, okay? Then we go through the next step of vetting. So there's, so that whole process that we go through, there's a minimum of 70 points required, and there's a maximum of 70 points that can be assigned. And then, and then we ask all the same questions of all of the people in a phone call. And with the references, it's very telling, because if you get feedback and somebody says, nice guys, but we got so many change orders on the project, I wouldn't use them again. Or if they say, hey, they just couldn't, supply the workforce that we needed to get the work done, and they delayed our schedule. When we look at that, we look at their ability to deliver, their record of delivering in the past, because this is the foundation of a successful project. First of all, having a good construction manager, which we do, and having subcontractors that can deliver on their work. And so we need to understand that they've worked on a project of this scale, or that because this project is over 3 years, and we look at how much work they would put in place either over a 2 or 3 year period, it depends on what the trade is. We're confirming that they have done projects in a similar time frame for similar dollar value and scope. And so, so we like to understand the quality. We'd like to understand if there's been any performance issues, if we get feedback that they were performing, but they weren't, conforming to the documents. In other words, they were building it the way they wanted to build it, not the way it was drawn and specified. So it's a very thorough process, and we do that with each of the firms. So we don't pre-qualify lightly, and we don't disqualify lightly, because there's implications both ways. So I think we had a good, solid pool of people who responded. A little more investigation on the HVAC side. We don't want to, disqualify unnecessarily if we don't have to, but we want to really make sure that, on one hand, we're trying to get as much competition as possible, but on the other hand, it's like, be careful what you wish for. You want to know that they can do the work.
Make a motion to accept the recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, so we'll look forward to seeing the HVAC at our next meeting.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We have a budget revision request, Gail?
Right,
Yes.
so we had, in the original budget, allotted, I believe it was $300,000 for utility work. And the previous budget revision request was to move money into that, to pay for the additional, National Grid fees and Columbia Gas fees related to moving the power underground and into the duct bank. So, National Grid doesn't do anything for free, so we got a second bill for the additional utility costs associated with the lift station. So that was for $14,396, and the budget revision will move money from the owner's contingency into the utility company fees, just to cover those costs. That still does, it leaves about $1,022,254 in the owner's contingency after this transfer. So,
And so how much was that line item to begin with?
originally it was 300, the owner's contingency, or the
No,
300,000 is what we originally carried.
300 even.
That's correct.
And the
Yep.
actual bill turned out to be 314.
Well, no,
Is that
we had a
another-
different one. Originally we had two. We had one for, I don't remember the values, but it was over 300 when we totaled up both National Grid and
Columbia Gas.
Columbia Gas. And so we had already made one transfer previously. Now, this is the second bill that's come from National Grid. And with these, the city has to pay them, and then we make the request to the MSBA after the fact, after it's been paid, to make the adjustment in the 3011.
So if we phrase it a little bit differently, everything what you said is correct. That we have work orders for different parts of the work, okay? And so what we've been doing is with each work order, we have been lining up a budget revision request so that the accounting can be followed very easily by the MSBA and by the city, that here's a work order and we have a budget revision request for that amount. I mean, we could shift, more money in there, but we would end up shifting it out if we didn't utilize it. So we're really tying it to the actual values of the various work orders. And there probably will be one or two more work orders with National Grid.
Yeah.
So it's for different parts of the project. First one being the duct bank as an example, and bringing a new duct bank in. So this is all within the budget. We're just moving dollars from the owner's contingency to the utility line item.
This is not a discretionary matter. We have no choice but to pay National Grid for the work they're doing.
Correct.
And the work they're doing is enabling work, because we can't start the rest of the job until they're out of our way, correct?
That's correct. And, I would say that there were some decisions about going partially underground and not having high-tension, lines above ground, where National Grid wanted to run it through the parking lot. And we just thought that was unacceptable. And you'd also have, if it was above ground, the guidelines, right near the ball, guide wires, right near the ball field. And, I thought it was a safety issue, as well as you build this beautiful new school, and welcome to National Grid, high power distribution lines.
Well,
So,
those lines are going underground, correct?
they are going
Yes.
underground. So,
Yeah.
But they reserved the right in their easement to put them above ground someday if they ever decided to go back to above
if the-
ground,
exactly,
which we hope that never occurs.
Right.
But
not without a major redevelopment going on to support something
Yeah.
like that, so.
So, does anybody have any further questions on that? Is there a motion?
So moved.
I'll take that as a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, so that was the vote that we needed, Gail, for,
We have to, the 90% submission to the MSBA, that's further down.
well, that's, yeah, I just meant that I covered that item.
Yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is the change request log, Steve.
So we changed the format, not to confuse, but best way to clarify. I did notice that there's a shading issue, Jack, sorry,
Looks like it's getting bigger.
just the font.
Okay.
That looks good, Steve.
Yes, one of the things that we had requested that was in the version I saw this morning was that we gray out things that are already taken care of and voted on. And that, so items 1,
Thank you.
2, and 3 probably should have been grayed out.
Yes,
but-
4 and 4.
And 4, so those will be grayed out the next time you see this. And that way, we can just look at the ones that aren't gray to determine what we need to look at.
Correct. So I'll go through them quickly. A lot of them we've talked about previously, so I'll just give you the update on where we stand with them. For instance, item 5, excavation of unsuitable materials. This is the large amount of loam that was uncovered during excavation. So we're replacing it with more suitable material, but we're also bringing the grade up to match final grades for when that is a permanent parking lot. The only piece that's missing is there'll be small credit or a credit from the site contractor that's performing the bid package 3 work, since we're doing some of their work now. Item 6, Highland Park erosion and drainage changes, ends up a net credit. We have submitted that to Skanska and KBA to start their review. We changed some drainage and just some erosion control around there and how that's going to be configured. Item 7, existing water main conflict, we voted on already and approved. Item 8, we voted on and approved, and we have rolled those into owner change order 2, which we'd like to have approved tonight as well. Item 9, relocating existing pole and adding a handhole. This was in the South Bushy lot. We uncovered just some existing electrical that needed to be replaced, and we needed to buy a handhole that can withstand traffic on top of it. So that work was done on time and materials. Item 10, infiltration system backfill. We adjusted the height of the infiltration system, so I had to adjust the backfill material that we used. So that one is being submitted for review.
This is the infiltration system that's near the circle in the western fields?
Correct.
Yep.
Which is a major part of the stormwater system that's been approved by the Conservation
Concom,
Commission.
Item 11, South Lot revised grading. That was just to improve the drainage there. That work was completed on time and materials, so we'll submit that one. Item 12, electrical work, medium voltage cable reroute. That had to do with bringing the new power, revising the power, the location of the power and where we connected to the existing power. Ended up being no cost to the electrician, but it actually saved money from the demo contractor and our concrete subcontractor. We were gonna go through the existing underground vault, but then rerouted it so we did not have to demo the vault and put new concrete in there, so that'll be a net credit. Item 13 is voided. Item 14, site work, superintendent lot, asphalt paving issue. There's a small or decent sized area in the north superintendent lot that water is infiltrating and softened the pavement material. I think we talked about it last meeting there. So the geotech is looking into what we could do there to make it more of a permanent solution so that we don't have a failure there. Item 15, repair of compromised drainage pipe. This was the piping that was discovered to be damaged when we opened up the street near the rotary. This is work that we completed. We had the hole open. We had Walsh complete the work. We consulted with the water department on what we did there. So that was tracked. We're just collecting the slips.
Is that the water department or the highway department?
That was,
I think that was highway.
that was highway,
Drainage.
I'm sorry.
Drainage.
Yep.
And just an aside, as a result of this, the mayor sent an email around to water, sewer, and highway suggesting that in the future, if any time we dig a hole in the ground and there's a thing that's not part of the project that shouldn't be paid for by the project, that they need to respond. And they have acknowledged that.
Right.
So we spoke to the mayor this morning, and when free cash is certified, he is going to send down to the council to reimburse the project for the cost of that, because Mike Tyler doesn't have it in his budget to pay for it, but it should be paid for by the city rather than by the project. So we will get reimbursed
It
for
was a
that.
repair to an
in October
existing
and
section
November.
of pipe that was, we didn't damage it, we just opened up in the street and we found that it was damaged, so it was almost an emergency repair for us to do it.
So it was important to get it done and important to get the street closed up, but it meant that we talked with the mayor and the department heads about a procedure to deal with this if it occurs in the future.
And then the last two items are contingency transfers. That's the construction contingency that's within the GMP. So those two items will not increase the GMP. We're just shifting money around from one bucket to the next. And those are in the works right now to finalize and verify and submit. So one is for, there's existing lights within the boiler room that we had to move out of the way in order to get the abatement work done, and then we had to put them back into safe alternate locations. And then item two, when we completed the demo, there was an existing roof drain that caused us to relocate the new breaching, and revise that a little bit, add some different materials, added some material there in order to rework that around the roof drain. So we are finalizing both of those, but keeping them within the project.
Okay, does anyone have any questions about the change proposal log? Okay, if hearing none, then, Steve, I think we can move on to the final part of bid package 3, which is landscaping.
Right, well, Jack, I
Do you
would
wanna
like
vote on
to
it?
vote.
Oh, wait,
on-
I forgot, we have to vote, even though we voted to approve change proposal 7 and 8,
Yep,
we also now have to vote to authorize them to go on to change order number 2.
yes.
So therefore, a motion would be in order to do that.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we can move on to the last part of bid package 3, Steve.
Yes. So I'd like to start with the approval of the OAL for landscaping first, if I could, and then we'll get to the big picture of bid package 3. So OAL for landscaping, we had 3 qualified bidders that we brought in, thorough D-scope once again with Skanska, KBA in the room. We have approved we need 2 subcontractors actually to complete the work. One's a landscaper and one is AstroTurf, a specialty contractor to complete the play area within the turf within the new play area. So they're part of this. It is the full landscape. It's the irrigation package. It's all the fields. It's all the specialty turf. It's the fencing. And we also have some allowances related to the irrigation system built in, and some fencing allowances, and some revisions to the loam and the specialty loam required. And all in both subcontracts, we're looking for $4,780,200 to Emmanuel, $60,716 to AstroTurf. The total price is $5,176,881, including the allowances.
And that is a bit higher than we thought it would be?
It is. It is above what we had budgeted, but again, if we move into the results overall from bid package 3, if people can see this. So we had previously approved concrete, structural steel, site work, and the vibration monitoring. And we had budgeted 41,463,353. All these, including the landscaping, came in at 43,486, 496. Thank you, Craig. But if we bring up the design contingency and escalation, which is exactly what it's for, and factor that into these numbers, and then once we add in, this is our insurances and contingencies below the line, the net overall for bid package 3 is actually a savings of $1,796,848. So this one particular OAL for landscaping is over budget, but we had some savings in steel and some of these other packages to offset and get us to the 1.7 savings. So overall, good news for bid package 3.
Steve?
Yes.
Where was that AstroTurf going?
The outside the play area for the
Pre-K, the daycare.
daycare.
Okay.
And that company would actually be involved if we do move forward with the Western Field at alternate as well?
Which we won't know until January.
Correct.
Although the permitting is scheduled to be before the Conservation Commission for its initial review on September 4th, and it will proceed over the course of the next month or two after that. So that we will be in a position, assuming the Conservation Commission agrees with our engineer, we will be in a position to award that work if the construction comes in at less than 223 million, enough to cover it. So we'll be putting ourselves in the right position. We
Correct.
just won't know until January when bid package 4 comes in and is de-scoped as to whether we can afford it or not.
So, Jack, I'm trying to recall, bid packages 1 and 2 were either right around or just under
Correct. Both are just under budget.
budget. And then now bid package 3 is a decent amount
Yep.
under budget. I mean, it's probably 2%, but it's, 1.8 million almost. So we're
Trending in
trending in the right
direction.
direction is kind of where we're going.
But we haven't talked about the 90% submission yet, but.
True.
But yes, those bids are all trending in the right direction.
Correct.
All right. Thank you.
So, therefore, what?
Vote recommending mayor sign
We
the
need to vote to
OAL.
recommend that the mayor sign the owner authorization letter for the 5176881.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Then Gail, do we need a separate overall vote for bid package 3?
We had done that previously for the first 2. There was a separate vote.
Okay, and do we know what that overall
total
number
value.
is?
Right there.
Yeah, it's the 49,487,114.
49,487,114
114.
even?
Yes.
Okay. So is there a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, next item on the agenda, pre-GMP amendment number 3.
That was it.
That's what we just did.
That's what we just voted. Yeah, technically, the name of it is the pre-GMP Amendment 3.
All right. Okay, then that means we can move on to the 90% of construction document submission. Is that correct? That's what CD stands for?
Yes.
And is that you, Craig?
Whoever, I'm just gonna make it Christmas morning over here. We brought down the 90% drawings and specifications and all the documents that will be going to the MSBA tomorrow. As you can see, we keep growing on reducing the rainforest.
Is that one set or multiple?
This is one set of drawings
And one set of specifications.
and one set of specifications, as well as
So,
the formal report that will be going to the state. There. Oh, thank you, Mary.
Who's taking all those home?
Well, I have a set for you in my car still. These are bills
Okay.
for the school departments. So,
Easy to carry in the
Certainly, if any of our members
I didn't want to steal
would
your
like
thunder.
to.
So
Oh, no,
whatever
it's-
you want to
it's
talk
our
about.
Page by page.
Go through it page by
Thunder.
page. Maybe Jerry would, maybe Eddie would. It wouldn't mean anything to me. You can certainly arrange through Gail to take a look at those documents.
I would like to see them, actually.
Okay, just call Gail and you can arrange it.
So, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll start talking about it. As you can see, I'm not sure if we said it in front of everyone or not, but there are approximately 900 pages,
almost 1,000.
almost 1,000 pages of drawings there. Good thing these are half-size. We also have 3,614 pages. Did she play that number? by
I
the
don't
way?
think she did.
Okay, then it's mine
Yep,
tonight.
you can take it.
So, so we have the specifications there as well. You can see that this is a culmination of a lot of hard work for a lot of people. We've had KBA working on this with their 30, maybe some odd sub-consultants. What we did as part of this process is we follow, it's very prescriptive process of reviewing the drawings. Not only did we have a review from Consigli, we also had a Skanska review, and it was a collaborative approach. We also had feedback from your sub-consultants and the design team, really trying to work towards a biddable set of documents, tighten up the documents as much as possible, eliminate the gray areas, to make sure that when these documents go out on the street for bid, that there will always be questions, but that as a group, there have been months of work of really trying to produce a strong set of documents that communicates appropriately what the work is, and based on that, we anticipate that you get competitive pricing. The better the documents, the less uncertainty there is, and the more competitive people can be, rather than, well, if I'm not sure, I better throw more money at this. So there's a rationale for that whole exercise and process.
And fewer change orders, hopefully, down the
And
road.
hopefully fewer change orders. We always anticipate that there will be change orders, but fewer, you know. Also, part of the process was to conduct 2 estimates. Consigli had performed an estimate as well as PM&C under the architect's contract. We spent, from 8 a.m. until 6:30 p.m. on Monday, going through the estimates and reconciling, making sure that we agreed on scope, quantities, unit pricing, and we were able, as a group, to, with the input of the engineers and the design team and, estimators who specialize in electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fire protection, that, civil, that we had all the right disciplines in the room providing feedback on this. And we have come up with a total project budget that is in alignment with the project funding agreement with the MSBA. That is no small feat, where, that's why we go through these exercises. Sometimes we add more information, and more information can also translate into more costs. So the more that we were able to clarify this, we were able to refine the costs and have a greater level of certainty about where we are. Much greater level than we were at the time, because there's only so much information available. So I think there was a lot of good, solid work done here. Also within the submission, there were a lot of deliverables from the design team, and deliverables from the OPM and from Consigli as well. So we have project schedules, we have construction schedules, we have phasing and logistics, and I think we have a great
Yeah.
submission here.
And just to build on that a little bit from what Marianne had said is, in addition to that, there's the documentation as far as we did receive approval from the school committee last week, I believe it was, for the proprietary items that we discussed earlier. The project also has been reviewed by the commissioning agent who's hired by the MSBA. They reviewed our drawings, our specifications, and their comments as well as our responses are included in the package. So there is a significant amount of information in here. When we're at this phase of the project, as you can see by the sheer size of the documents, we've got most of the items captured at 90%, and at this point, we're really focusing on our coordination efforts, our detailing efforts, making sure that make sure the building doesn't leak as a minor example, but also making sure we're capturing every piece of scope, and also refining the details, see if we can't find more cost-effective ways to do it, just to build it so that we can kind of keep the project going in a positive manner without reducing quality. And so that's what we're tasked with for the next basically month and a half before we go out to bid.
Ed?
Can these be accessed online?
I anticipate that we'll be able to provide information and it will get posted. I don't know if the drawings per se, because there's security information in there.
I mean, they must
Security
exist
design.
as a source to be able to print them like that.
Well, they do,
Yeah.
they do exist as a source, and I think it's available in places where Bill will have a copy,
Gail will have a
Gail
copy.
will have a copy. I don't know if we're gonna open it up
No,
to
I
the,
just
to the
wondered.
world because of the safety and security factors that
Right.
we
Okay.
wouldn't give somebody a blueprint, literally, of that, so. But yes, it's available for review,
So we are on budget,
Yes,
yes.
we are on time.
yes.
Yes,
Well, I was like 10 minutes late.
but it's due
Us are on
tomorrow.
Project finishes 10 minutes late on the day it's supposed to, we will all give you an award. So therefore, we need to have a roll call vote in order to approve the 90% submission. But before we do that, any of the members have any other questions or comments? Hearing none. Gail, do you want to call the roll?
Sure. Jack,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Bill,
Yeah.
Jason,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Jackie,
Yes,
Ed,
Yes.
and David.
Yes.
Did I miss anybody?
Okay, that's unanimous.
Terry's still on the board?
Uh,
On vacation?
So, is there any other business we need to undertake?
We have one of our neighbors came in on, Patty, I didn't know if you wanted the floor or you were just observing.
I was observing, but I do have two questions.
Okay,
One of which is there a time of day that the construction is supposed to begin, both during weekdays and on weekends?
7 AM is the city ordinance.
Okay. So during the weekdays, I can appreciate where they may want to start a little bit early, but on the Saturdays that they've been working, they are starting before 7 as well. So they probably shouldn't be doing that.
Consigli will take care of that
Yep,
first
we
thing
can
in the
look that
morning.
up.
Okay. And then the other question is about the temporary lot, and I don't know if this is an appropriate place, but the mayor had a comment on Facebook yesterday or the day before that is a permanent lot.
Well, that's a yes and no. Let me tell you, because I got the permit, so I know. The Conservation Commission and the Planning Board have required them to be removed at the finish of our construction. But we did alert them to the fact that in the event that the city goes forward with a performing arts center, that we may want to retain about half of the parking spaces, but that will require further permitting at that time by both of those boards.
Thank you.
So the answer is, nothing is permanent, but there's a maybe if funding comes through for the Performing Arts Center.
Thank you.
Okay? Is there any other business we need to accomplish tonight?
I just want to make the committee aware that on September 11th, which is our next meeting, that's our annual back-to-school night. So that program is from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. So we start before 6 o'clock, so parking shouldn't be an issue, but we have a lot of eager parents who will come a little bit early, so I just wanted to make everybody aware of that.
Would it be safe to assume, Mary Ann, that we will have a shorter agenda at the next meeting?
Yes,
I believe so. It should just be the invoices and then the approval of the mechanical.
the HVAC, yes.
Okay. We still need a quorum, folks, so we still need you to show up. And maybe one other thing, Craig or Mary Ann, what is the process? I know we probably all know it, but for those out there in the public, once you deliver all that stuff to the MSBA tomorrow morning, what is the next process?
Yeah, sure.
So we will deliver to the MSBA tomorrow morning, and then they have approximately 21 days that they review the drawings. They'll conduct their own independent review as well to make sure that we're meeting all of the stipulations as part of the project funding agreement, and we're delivering a package that they feel is inappropriate to put out to bid, et cetera. And then we'll get those comments back, we'll review them, we'll respond to them as necessary. And then on September 30th is when we're due to complete the 100% documents and handing them over to Consigli, as well as the group to put them out to bid from a building standpoint for bid package 4.
Do we need to submit the 100% documents to the MSBA?
Yes.
And so there will again be a review process?
No,
No.
We
No.
just
It's
so
for
that's an
record.
FYI.
it's for record, yeah.
Okay.
We have submitted, just for information, in the past, the record drawings from bid packages 1, 2, and 3 to the MSBA for their reference. So they have those in their office, and they get a copy of bid package 4 when we go out with that as for reference too.
And then when will the bid documents hit the street?
Well, it's really,
October 1st-ish.
Right.
I don't know what day of the week it is,
Yeah,
but
30th is a Monday.
we're delivering the documents on September 30th.
to
so
Consigli, and they'll put them out for bid packages.
First week in October.
Correct.
And then when will the bids be due?
I think it's approximately 4 weeks from that.
So around the 1st of November?
Right. So that's the trade contracts would be due then.
And
And
They
then we-
they have buyout packages for carpentry and
Right.
other stuff that's
For-
not
yeah,
through
for
filed
non-
sub-bidding.
okay.
Which we'd still have bids due, but that buyout process is a little more lengthy than the trade contract.
And so, as we indicated before, at some point in the middle of January, we should have everything buttoned up and be ready to go?
We should have a very good handle on where the costs are.
You did not endorse what I just said. What did I say wrong?
Everything buttoned up. I don't know that we're gonna buy final cleaning out in January, items like that. I don't think we're gonna buy all the packages by then, but we should have a good idea of what they will cost.
And so we will know where we stand on that, against that 223 budget number.
Yes.
Okay. So, anybody have any other items or questions?
Do we require a vote of the 100% submission? Was the 90% really the key milestone for us?
Yeah, just for clarification, we've met the fulfillment of the obligation to the MSBA, which is 100% design development, 60% CDs.
And 90%.
CDs.
Okay.
And technically, I mean, I've seen it go both ways. They don't always necessarily look for the 100% set. Sometimes they look for a conformed set where you have all of your RFIs and addendums and all the questions, and they're happy to take that as well, because I don't think they're gonna be going through the 100% set. But the 90% submission, which is going in tomorrow, they will have another architectural firm looking at this and reviewing this. So it's not just the MSBA project managers. There'll be a full peer review of what we put out there, so there's no faking it. It's, we send it and then, there's that peer review.
So any recommendations or adjustments they'll have, you'll get back, or any questions for us? And in the process, you're also tidying up the last remaining 10% of the
Exactly.
package. I just didn't know from a timing standpoint if there was any, like, I thought the 90% was kind of our last big milestone to vote on in terms of document submission.
It is.
It is, okay.
It is.
I
The
just wanted
next
to confirm
votes
that.
will really be about
Bid package and-
approving contracts and
Qualifications.
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, then are we ready to adjourn?
Yes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 6:22.
How do you want these, Bill?
Yeah.
Wrapped up? Gail, you out front? Gail, are you out front? Along the street. Oh, you're in the street. You're not in the administrator's lot? Where are you, Craig? Administrator's lot?
Yeah.
Okay, I can pull up there.
Oh, you're down the road? I'll